Test, 1, 2, 3, test.
Test, test, test. In the highlands of West Indiana, a city called Terre Haute, two teams hoping that their hard work can be reimbursed as they play at a site where a bird named Larry once chirped. The Holman Center, lifting 9,000 strong, the electric atmosphere is getting geared up before this men's basketball NIT quarterfinal. As Jizzle James, coming off a career day, leads the Cincinnati Bearcats into a showdown against Robbie Avila and the Indiana State Sycamores, trying to defend their digs. You're listening to men's college basketball on Bearcats Sports Radio. Good evening, I'm Chase Yantz. Christian Pagan right beside me. Thanks for having us in. The Bearcats are still playing March basketball after a win versus the Bradley Braves on Saturday afternoon, winning by a score of 74-57, a game in which the Bearcats shot 47% from the field. Simas Lukoshi's got the party started, hitting 4 threes in the first half, but it was ultimately finished off by the sensational freshman, Jizzle James. Chris, we were there for that game. Have you wrapped your mind around what he's been able to do, especially on Saturday?
I haven't. That performance Saturday was truly special by Jizzle James. I mean, 25 points in his first career start. It doesn't get any better than that, and I think tonight, great atmosphere here at Indiana State. This is going to be a challenge for the Bearcats, and especially Jizzle James for being a freshman, but I think he likes adversity, and I think he likes playing in March, and same with the squad itself.
Most definitely, and Pops is also in the stands tonight. We saw him down there on the court. Looking at Cincinnati's keys to success, if you had to highlight 1 or 2 things, what would it be?
It's going to be defense. Indiana State, in every shooting statistic there is, they are top 11 in the country, and one that stands out, 51% shooting from the floor and 38% from deep. You're going to have to defend a 3 tonight, and it's going to be very critical that you do that. Once your defense paves way for your offense, things are going to get rolling.
Indiana State made recent history in being the first team to finish outside of the top 30 of the net rankings and miss the NCAA tournament. The Missouri Valley Conference regular season champions have been on a heater this season, and the committee's decision turned that fire up a notch. Whatever frustration this team's had, it's been putting out on the court. winning both NIT games by right around double figures. Coming off a win against Minnesota just over 48 hours ago, guard Ryan Conwell was the paper headline on Sunday, but Robbie Avila has been the billboard all season for the Sycamores. Chris, what do you think of this guy?
Well, Avila, all Missouri Valley Conference first team. He's 5th in the conference in scoring, double-digit scoring in 30 out of 34 games this season, including 10 consecutive. You know, he's going to be a huge impact for the Sycamores in this game. And when the lights shine brightest, he's going to be there. I think he's going to have a big game tonight for the Sycamores.
Well, we talked about the Bearcats defensively. Indiana State, they play really good offense. That's probably the main key tonight, you'd say.
Oh, yeah. Like I mentioned, top 11 in the nation in every offensive statistic there is. They're going to shoot the lights out. We were in the press conference for UC Bradley, and a reporter asked Bradley's head coach if you could tell Wes Miller in Cincinnati one thing of advice versus the Sycamores, what would it be? And immediately stopped 3. So it's going to be one of those games tonight.
Chance for reservations at Hinkle Fieldhouse a week from tonight. Coming up in about 60 seconds, we'll take a look at the coaches and starters in this big-time battle. It's the Bearcats. It's the Sycamores. Up next on Bearcast Sports Radio. Back here on Bearcast Sports Radio. Big time matchup coming up here in the NIT. Cincinnati and Indiana State. The history between these teams, the Bearcats lead the all-time series 11-1 in the first meeting since the 1986-87 season where UC beat Indiana State 70-60 and here in Terre Haute. Looking at the starters for tonight's game, Dan Skillings Jr., Jizzle James, John Newman III, Seamoss Lukosius, and Aziz Bandego start for the Bearcats. And for the Sycamores, Julian Larry, Isaiah Swope, Ryan Conwell, Jason Kent, and Robbie Avula. That is. And tip is underway, and Dan Skillings gets the basketball, puts it up, tipped off, and right out of bounds, 5 seconds into this ball game, and it's Indiana State basketball.
I mean, I looked at my notes for 1 second, and I already saw Dan Skillings at the post.
Very quick start as this Indiana State team plays at a very fast pace. Here is Larry with the basketball, pick and pop over to Avila. Larry, inside dribble, takes it up with the left hand and scores. Scoop shot's good off the glass. Bearcats on the other way. John Newman, the left hand toward the top of the key. Dribbles in, step back three. It's good. Bottoms for John Newman III. He's been at it for a while.
He hit his 1,000-point Saturday. Last Wednesday, he had 0 points, his first scoreless game this year, and he starts off with a bang, a nice three-pointer.
Jizzle James guarding Julian Larry with the basketball, now switched off on Aziz Bandego. Larry the basketball, spin moves inside, and gets right to the basket at will. Julian Larry scoring 2 buckets to start off this game, 4-3 Sycamores.
I mean, right there, the mismatch with Bandego, and Larry's going to take that every single day.
Jizzle James in the low post. Between the legs, a screen from Bandego. James about 15 feet out, and we talked about that shot the entire season as Jizzle James drills that one from about 14 to 15 feet out.
He just loves to fade away. His goal is to get to the baseline, create some space, shoot that jump ball fading away. That's his sweet spot right there.
A shot he's perfected for quite a long time. Julian Larry, the basketball between the legs, pushes inside, hop step, puts another one off, and gets fouled. Almost a friendly roll into the basket, but Julian Larry will go to the line to shoot 2 shots.
We're only 90 seconds in. That's kind of concerning that Larry is driving to the paint with ease. Wes Miller's going to make some adjustments because this could get out of hand very quickly.
All 3 possessions, Larry has controlled the basketball with the majority of it. And now he will be shooting free throws. Larry, an 80% free throw shooter. This is the first one. Promising announcer's jinx on there, apparently.
I just love looking at the difference in free throw shooting in both teams. Bearcats shoot 69 from the charity stripe, which is last in the Big 12, while the Sycamores shoot 80%, which is 3rd in the country.
And as you say that, the 80% free throw shooter Larry just missed his 2nd free throw, and the Bearcats have the basketball. Jizzle James, the guard across the Sycamores logo in the middle of the court. Now he's inside, backing down. Seamoss Lukosius shot fake. Puts it inside to Bandego at the 15-foot mark on the free throw line. Jizzle James, the pull-up jumper from the elbow. It's good. Jizzle James, a hot start for him, keeping his thing going from the last game.
Once again, driving in. This one was an elbow jumper, got enough space. Once again, fading away, but James had a great start to last game, and so far he's having a great start to this game.
Conwell pitched back to Avila. Avila looking. Nice backdoor pass, and it's corralled by Conwell. The shot from Avila. This place goes insane as Robbie makes his shot. Otherwise, they call him Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
38% shooter from beyond the arc. For a big man, that's pretty impressive.
7-7, a football score you'd think. Seamoss Lukosius in the low corner, throws it out to John Newman. Newman at the right wing, crossover. Dan Skillings inside, spin moves up, keeps the pivot foot, steps through, and they call it travel. The Indiana State bench wanted that one, and they got it.
I do like the confidence from Skillings. Once again, last game against Bradley, he drove with confidence and ease. He had a 20 bag, rather a 20 piece, and he's starting this game off. Driving in, let's see if he continues.
Julian Larry off the high screen. Here's Avila again. Is it deja vu? It's missed. Rebounded Dan Skillings Jr. with the basketball. Gets it off to Jizzle James. James guarded by Larry. The middle of the court by the Sycamores logo. Trying to set up a play. Pitch back to Jizzle James from Dan Skillings Jr. James on the left wing toward the Indiana State bench. Lukosius wanted a shot, throws it to Bandego. Jizzle James behind the back, off the screen, inside, floater, puts it up. Missed, but he tried to pass it to Bandego, and Bandego was fouled.
I like the vision right there from Jizzle James, finding Bandego at the rim. Just hope Bandego would have finished that. Nice little pick and roll action against Avila. just couldn't get it to go, but Bandego will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws.
From our vantage point, it looked like Jizzle James was putting a floater up, but then we see it on the video board, and that basketball was nowhere near the rim. And that sends Aziz Bandego to the line to shoot 2 shots. Bandego's first shot off the front rim and missed. Bandego, a 56% free throw shooter on the season. Looking at these coaches, Josh Schertz, 64 and 39 here at Indiana State, a great 30-6 season. Wes Miller, 22 and 14 on the year. As Aziz Bandego misses the free throw. Dan Skilling's had the rebound, but it was stripped away. Julian Larry, the basketball, pushing with tempo. On the left side, trying to go in. Avula, the basketball. Tries to bounce it out, but it's kicked by Bandego to stay with the Sycamores.
Probably the best case scenario. I think that was Ryan Conwell driving in, and Avula tried getting a backdoor cut, but Bandego just went off his leg. I think Conwell had his man beat inside the paint.
Avula always looking for those touch passes. The eyes of a quarterback reading a zone. Avula, another pass again, and missing the layup was Swope. Pushing in transition. No time wasted. Dan Skillings Jr. off the screen from Bandego. Flips the screen. Dan Skillings Jr. the push shot. Missed. Tipped out of bounds. And it'll actually stay with Cincinnati.
Yeah, from up here, it looks like it went off Bandego, but the refs disagree and say it went off, looks like on Avula. But I think Isaiah Swope did not realize how wide open he was on that layup attempt.
Those are buckets that you want to get back. Jizzle James, a right wing 3, and Jizzle James misses the shot, but tipped out by Bandego, but ultimately in the hands of Swope, who pushes and transitions on Simas Lukosius. The ball is stripped away, but Swope still has it. Bounced out of bounds. It'll stay Indiana State basketball with 15:52 in the first half. The score still stands Cincinnati 7, Indiana State 7. We'll take a media timeout ourselves here on Bearcats Sports Radio. So, Chris, this is our first road game of the season, and what a better environment to be in than this one.
I mean, right when we walked on the court, we were told by multiple personnel, this environment is crazy. This place gets rocky, and 9,000 people here, sellout crowd. From where we are, it gets loud, and this is going to be such a fun game. Just the energy in the arena is there. I'm really excited for this one.
The Holman Center, they renovated it around 2019-2020 timeframe during the COVID era. This is the same place that Larry Bird once played in when Indiana State went to the national championship in 1979, lost to Michigan State. And Indiana State trying to get themselves an NIT championship. Same with the Bearcats. Here, play in session. Swope Three ball, left wing, missed it, rebounded by Jason Kent. Now back out to Swope. Kent, one of their more utility guys inside, does a lot of rebounding and dirty work. Swope with Bandego on him, making him dance the dance. Puts it up, actually passes it out. Shot fake. Step back three. Conwell missed. Rebounded by Dan Skillings Jr.
Great defensive effort right there by the Bearcats, especially on Bandego when he had the mismatch on one of the Indiana State guards.
Simas Lukosius inside. Simas Lukosius with a 10-foot running jumper.
That ends the 2.5-minute scoring drought for the Bearcats on the Lukosius floater.
9-7 Bearcats are up with 15 minutes to go in this first half. Julian Larry on the right side of the court with the basketball, steps inside, misses the layup, tipped around, and ultimately rebounded by Simas Lukosius. Jizzle James running the break. Swope guarding him, kick out Dan Skillings. Skillings for three, bottoms for Skillings.
Just like that, how things can change so quickly. Bearcats are starting to find some rhythm right here, about 5 minutes into the first half.
A game of runs, that is college basketball. Kickball on Aziz Bandego, as though they called that a 2.
I think that's the right call. Looks like his toe was right on the line.
It's tough to tell from up here, but
I think we're so used to being in the first bowl. We got privilege down there. Now we're up here. We got relegated. I like this view, though. It's nice.
This is a really nice
view,
nice. Though. It brings us back to the football days in a sense. Here, inbounding the basketball, the Sycamores. Conwell over to Julian Larry, almost stumbled and fell. Kick out to Avila. Avila for three. Avila drills it. A 38% three-point shooter connects on his second one of the night, and it's 11-10 Bearcats still leading.
So it looks like miscommunication with Jamil Reynolds and one of the Bearcat defenders on. Looks like the possible switch. I like this matchup between Reynolds and Avila down in the paint.
The big man inside will be key. Simas Lukosius wing three missed. Tipped out by Reynolds, but rebounded ultimately by Swope. Swope, transition three was tipped by Dan Skillings, but they called a foul.
Well, Wes Miller does not like that call. He's arguing with the ref right now. Skilling's going to believe it. That's going to be 3 free throws.
That'll be for Isaiah Swope. Averages 15.9 points a game. Shoots 48% from the field, 33% from deep, and 77% from the foul line. Scores 10-11, 11-10 that is. Cincinnati up on Indiana State. Swope's first free throw is good. 1 shot remaining for him. Indiana State only plays about 7 guys.
Yeah, they're about a 7-8 rotation deep type of team. We received some intel from the student broadcasters of Indiana State that, it's usually a 7-personnel rotation. We saw it in the box score, I believe, against even Minnesota is really like a 6-personnel rotation. Bearcats a little more deeper, so you question, will the depth carry the way for the Bearcats?
Swope makes all 3 free throws. Light pressure for Indiana State as Jizzle James brings the ball up the court. The Sycamores are up 13-11. James gets it off to Lukosius, back over to James, a screen from Lukosius, another screen from Reynolds. James from deep misses it, tipped around, rebounded by Conwell, pushing up the floor, wasting no time. Swope the basketball on the left wing, back to Avila. Avila with James on him, a mismatch that is. The student section wanting Avila to go inside, skip pass, and stepped out of bounds was Julian Larry.
On the offensive end for the Bearcats, they are getting good looks. They're just not falling right now. Jizzle James had a good look from the top of the key. Just couldn't fall, but I'm noticing with Lukosius, if he gets any space beyond the perimeter, he's going to let it fly.
He's made over 23 since the start of the Big 12 tournament around 2 weeks ago. He has been hot from there. Dan Skillings inside of Lukosius. Lukosius looking around, puts a shot up, and he's fouled. Avila was guarding him. And the foul will be called on number 3, Conwell. Ryan Conwell, that is. Bit of a mismatch inside. 6'8" versus 6'10". Lukosius doesn't seem like a guy that's about 6'8", but pretty tall guy. Big guy, good shooter.
He's got the physique of a 6'8" person, but he moves like a quick guard.
A guy that can handle the rock and bring the ball up the court when needed. Lukosius missed the first free throw, and Josh Reed checks in for Dan Skillings Jr. On the court for the Bearcats, Jizzle James, John Newman III, Simas Lukosius, Jamil Reynolds, and Josh Reed. The same 5 starters on the court for the Sycamores. Lukosius' second free throw is up and good.
It's more of a defensive lineup in for the Bearcats with Reed, Jizzle James, and John Newman.
Like you mentioned, defense being the emphasis in this one. Inside, Conwell with a nice take, but it rolls out a toilet bowl, if you will. Jizzle James has the basketball over to Lukosius. Lukosius wasting no time from deep and misses the shot, but it's rebounded. And up the court to Larry. Larry mishandles it, and he stepped out of bounds. It'll be Bearcats basketball. The pass up the court from Swope to Larry looked like it was a surefire transition basket, but it did not go through.
Looks like Larry lost a handle, may have taken the eyes off it. He had Reynolds right behind him coming in, but kind of a weird sequence for ball handling on both sides.
Missed layups and drop passes on the end of Indiana State, and Cincinnati trying to get adjusted. Here, Lukosius up top, over to Jizzle James on the left wing. John Newman now the basketball on the left wing, throws it inside to Jamil Reynolds, who has Avila on him. Kick, Newman, 3-ball, it's good. John Newman from the top of the key, and the Bearcats regain the lead.
It's a great look. It's a great look. Newman inside of Reynolds, back out to Newman, top of the key, 3-pointer. Could Newman have a big game tonight? I think he's feeling it so far to start the game off.
Xavier Bledson in the game right now for Indiana State, one of the few reserves. Nice pass inside to Kent, and Kent with a reverse layup. It'll even this game at 15 as we go below 12 minutes in the first half. Jizzle James across the timeline, guarded by Julian Larry. Bearcats running somewhat of the same type of play. Jizzle James creeps inside, 15-foot jumper. Water for Jizzle.
Jizzle James, 6 quick points, all inside the perimeter and around that 15-foot mark, like you mentioned in his first shot, creating enough space, fading away. That's a sweet spot.
Here at media timeout, the Bearcats are up 17-15. Looking at these numbers, it is early in the game, late at night to say the least. Chris, what have you seen so far? Both teams shooting pretty good from the field.
Very similar numbers. You look at the Sycamores, 5 of 11, and you look at the Bearcats, 7 of 13. You saw Julian Larry have that great start with 4 quick, but I think for the Bearcats, the key thing is potentially sharing the wealth. You're gonna, so far it looks like Jizzle James and John Newman having 12 of the 17 points. Will it be a two-headed offensive show tonight, or will it be more balanced? Because you look at the Sycamores, talent all over. This team, it's a great team, and I think people were shocked when they got knocked out of the NBC tournament.
It's crazy to think about. I mean, this was a team that was in the top 30 in net. They have 30 wins at the moment. They pretty much handled all the competition they needed to, except for that final tournament game in their conference in the championship against Drake. But Indiana State, the #1 overall seed here in the NIT tournament.
How about for the first time since 1978 and 1979, this team earned national rankings? They were ranked 23rd in the AP Top 25. Then they lost the very next game, which kicked them right out of the Top 25.
A very short stay, that is. At least Terre Haute got re-recognized on the map. Here as the teams break from the media timeout, the under 12 that is. The Bearcats shot 47% last time out against Bradley, and Indiana State shot 48%. Not a very good three-point shooting day for the Sycamores on Sunday. They only shot 26% from the field, but were able to win a game by 12 points. Julian Larry bringing the ball up the court. guarded by Jizzle James. You're looking for a couple of screens, one set by Derek Vorst. Out to Bledson. Bledson driving in on Odio Guama, who checked in the game. Vorst inside, missed the layup, but a foul's called on Jamil Reynolds.
It looks like he tried to go for a block attempt, and looks like got the arm on Derek Vorst, it looks like. Jamil Reynolds kind of took his eyes off the defender, and he got a backdoor cut, resulting in him arriving there late in the foul call on the block attempt.
Vorst at the line shooting 2. Jake Wolf, the redshirt fifth-year senior, also in the game. So 3 guys off the bench for Indiana State. Vorst's first free throw is good. He's only a 50% free throw shooter. Makes the front end on that. Lukosius checks back into the game for Josh Reed.
Josh Reed had a lot of minutes played. He had 21 minutes of action. That was the second most minutes seen this year, only behind 26 against Detroit Mercy.
A game in which we called the first one of the season for the two of us as a pair. The pair of free throws made by Vorst, tied up at 17. As we approach the 11-minute mark in the first half, Jizzle James brings up the basketball on the right side of the court over to Dan Skillings, pushing toward the middle. Pass to Simas Lukosius, tried to look for a shot, now inside to Odio Guama. Oguama spin move, keeps his dribble, trying to move Bledson. The jump hook for Oguama, it rolls out, rebounded by Bledson.
It's a good look for Oguama, just couldn't fall.
Conwell, kick over to Vorst. Look for the dribble handoff, didn't have anything. And now it's picked off by Jizzle James. James crossover dribble in transition, puts the shot up, and count the basket. Jizzle James. Jizzle with the sizzle, huh?
I mean, he's going to be special. There's 3 guys around him, and he's just pacing himself, driving in. First, he gets the steal. Driving in, 3 guys around him, gets the contact, throws it off the glass and in with ease.
I know we mentioned Pops on the broadcast almost all the time we do basketball games, but just looked like a patient running back looking through here and there as they show him on the screen.
I see him wearing a Pacers hat.
Gotta rep the state, you know.
Jizzle, 8 quick points so far.
He's at the foul line, shoots the free throw, gets the old-fashioned three-point play to go. 9 points for him. And Cincinnati a 20-7 lead. 17, that is. Conwell goes off a double screen to his right hand. Guarded by Lukosius, crossover dribble, kick to the corner. Julian Larry back to Conwell. Conwell with the left-hand dribble to the inside. Vorst will shoot the 3 from the top of the key, and Vorst will connect from deep. Derek Vorst, the big 3 for him, ties it up at 20.
The Bearcats have to get a man on that. You cannot leave anyone on this team wide open for a 3-point attempt, regardless if they're a guard, forward, or center. You have to contest that 3 because this team can shoot the lights out.
A team that really plays positionless. Lukosius, he trades back with a 3. Simas Lukosius has been hot since the start of the Big 12 tournament. A madman in March, you'd say.
Exactly, right there. A give and go with Bandago. I mentioned any space he gets, he's going to shoot it.
Julian Larry to dish off, and it's stolen by Simas Lukosius. A 5-on-4 in transition. Jizzle James pushes it up, throws it up, and almost thrown down by Oguama, but a foul is called as Oguama grimaces in pain. The Indiana State fans do not like it, and it'll be called on Ryan Conwell.
For the Bearcats offense, it's more balanced. They're attacking the paint more with Oguama in. He had the jump hook, couldn't fall in. They're attacking him again. Looks like on the alley-oop attempt, just couldn't get the fall, but he'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Jason Kent checks into the game, as well as Isaiah Swope.
They're calling the floor.
And Robbie Avila. They did call it on the floor, like it was a pass. With 23-20 to score, Lukosius inbounds over to Dan Skillings Jr. looking for a curl, but Skillings goes inside, puts it up, and misses everything. Rebounded by Avila.
That was a 4th shot right there.
Avila inside, turnaround, kicks out. Here's Bledson. Back into Avila on the left block. Tipped away by Dan Skillings. It'll stay with the Sycamores.
I like this unique lineup that Wes Miller is using. Technically, you have 2 bigs out there if you want to count Guam as a big, he was the starting center when the season started. Been running him and Bandega along with Reynolds as well.
4 guys over 6'6" on the court at the moment for Cincinnati.
And that's the problem with Indiana State. They do not have that much height on their roster.
Swope, corner 3, missed. Rebounded by Okwama, stripped away, but they'll call it on the line, and will stay with the Bearcats. Jason Kent tried to strip it, but he stepped on the line. And John Newman will sub into the game for Odi Okwama, who gave some pretty valuable minutes in that time frame.
Yeah, Okwama did very good with this action that you just saw in that little segment. I wonder if the Bearcats will look to him again later on if Reynolds could be struggling.
Indiana State with some light pressure up the court. Jizzle James across the timeline in the center of the court. A rush screen set by John Newman. Over to Bandego, back to Jizzle James on the right side of the court. James between the legs dribble. Looking, shot off the glass and missed. Tipped around, and the Sycamores have it. Dribbling up the court was Wolf. Kicked out to Avila. Looking for the dribble handoff to Swope. Avila in the pinch post. Guarded by Bandego. Bledson shot fake on Jizzle James. He'll shoot it this time and misses it, but an offensive rebound out to the top of the key by Swope. Swope, the Southern Indiana transfer, will shoot from the S in Sycamores and misses the shot. Rebounded Simas Lukosius. Going the other way, the Bearcats. Cross-court pass, Jizzle James. Between the legs for James. About an 18-foot jumper, and it rims out and rebounded by Jason Kent.
He's getting good looks. He really is. They're just not falling.
Avila with a wide open look and misses the shot of his own. Dan Skilling's the board. Both teams in over a 2-minute scoring drought at the moment. Skilling's over to Bandego in the center of the court. A screen set. Lukosius looked for a shot and throws it over to Jizzle James on the left wing. Jizzle James trying to split 2. Kept his dribble. Lukosius deep 3 from the top of the key, and it's missed. Bledson the board. The drought continues. Looked like he traveled back over to Bledson and stolen by Jizzle James. Up the court to Dan Skillings Jr. Hammer time for him and jams it. No jelly but jam for Dan Skillings Jr., and we will go to the media timeout. 25-20, Cincinnati is leading, and we'll be back here on Bearcat Sports Radio. Jizzle James must love his cardio. 38 minutes in the last game, 13 minutes so far.
Yeah, without Day-Day Thomas, who's out with an injury, Jizzle James is going to have a bigger load of minutes tonight like we saw Saturday. 38 minutes, in which he had 25 points tonight. He's played every minute so far, except now because they just subbed him out. But he's going to have at least 30-plus minutes tonight.
Bearcats with their big lineup out here. As Swope brings it across the floor, they're playing a bit of a zone here. It's like an extended 2-3 zone. Backdoor cut Kent. And a block off the glass by Bandego, but a foul is called. From up here, it looked clean, but obviously we're not down there to see frame-by-frame shots.
Yeah, I think Westboro had the better angle on that one than us. But, yeah, just great ball movement by the Sycamores right there, working it around, backdoor cut. Bandego tried to go for the block, but a foul is called on him.
Literally got him across the arm. Now you look at the replay.
Like you mentioned, Bearcats running a bigger lineup. You have Lukosius, who's 6'8", who's presumably going to be bringing up the ball. So Bearcats have to use advantage of this.
Skillings and Josh Reed are out on the top of the 2-3 zone trying to jump Swope as Kent hits the first free throw. And Jizzle James wastes no time to check back into the game, going in for Seamoss Lukosius.
I guess Coach Miller heard my tactic and said, no, we're not going to do that. Jizzle go in for Lukosius.
Had an intercom up here, huh?
I guess so.
Here Kent shooting the second free throw. It's up and good. 25-22, Bearcats lead. Light pressure again for Indiana State. The ball over to Dan Skillings, back over to Jizzle James. James guarded by Swope across midcourt. Bearcats trying to set up. Bandego the basketball on the right wing. Dribble handoff to Skillings. Skillings inside, looking for something. Puts a tough shot up, and the bank is open past 9 o'clock for Dan Skillings Jr.
Once again, with confidence and poise driving in, got stuck at the block, made a couple moves, got it off the glass.
Swope splits the defense and rejected by John Newman III. Dan Skillings pushing up in transition, and a foul is called as Jason Kent tried to strip low but got an armful of Dan Skillings Jr.
Bearcats had numbers there. It was a 2-on-1 with Skillings and Jizzle. Let's see. It looks like it's going to be on the floor.
Again, the Sycamore fans not liking that one. It will be on the floor, and Jizzle James will inbound the basketball. Up 27-22 are the Bearcats. Josh Reed looking over to Bandego. Bandego, handoff, more like a pitch over to Jizzle James. James off the screen. James inside. Tough shot, James. And Jizzle James, a too small motion as he makes the basket.
Great start for Jizzle James. I mean, 11 quick points. 4 of 9 from the floor already. 5 of 9 from the floor. Could he be destined for another great game tonight?
The Bearcats build their lead to 7, and Jason Kent says, let's go to 4, and makes the 3. 29-25 Bearcats.
Well, the Sycamores were kind of on a 3-point drought, missing, I believe, the last 6 in a row, and that one ends that drought by Jason Kent.
Jizzle James, 15-footer from the left wing. It's wash, rinse, repeat at this point. Jizzle James hits the 15-footer.
Bearcats are doing a great job with screens and picks of getting Jizzle James space to shoot. Like I said, once he gets space, he's going to let it fly.
13 points, 6 for 10 from the field for Jizzle James. Pass out, shot for Conwell, and Conwell drills a 3 of his own from the right wing.
Both teams are starting to heat up right here. Fans are getting on their feet.
The Holman Center, 9,000 strong they are. The crowd gets loud. Bandego the basketball. Pitches it out to Dan Skillings Jr., guarded by Julian Laird, who was on the all-defensive team in the Missouri Valley Conference. Bandego the basketball once again. Looking for something. Pitch back to James. James, the deep shot. Missed off the front rim and rebounded by Conwell. Conwell pushes in transition. Goes over. The offhand finish, but he did not finish it and missed it. Tipped out, and it'll stay with Indiana State. Jason Kent and Josh Reed tried to go after it, collided, and it went off Josh Reed per the officials.
On that previous possession, Bandego had it. I wanted him to go on a view. I want Bandego to get involved on the offensive end for the Bearcats. And whenever he gets the ball at top of the key, looks like he just wants to pass it out. I don't know if that's by design or if he doesn't have any confidence. I want him to drive in. He is 6 foot 235.
Hasn't taken a shot today.
He only had one shot versus Bradley.
Jamil Reynolds in the game for him now. Swope the basketball over to Avila. Backdoor pass for him. Conwell finishes the bucket.
I think every assist by Avila has been a backdoor cut.
Bearcats call a timeout. Sycamores slice at their lead. Bearcats are up 31-30 with 4:21 to go in the first half.
Both teams are starting to heat up. We saw the scoring drought. Both teams a couple minutes ago. Now both teams start to heat up on the offensive end.
Indiana State shooting 5 for 12 from the foul line.
How about a little 48% from the floor in the month of March for Jizzle James?
He's taking a page out of Seamoss's book, at least from inside the three-point line. Looking at this Indiana State roster, a lot of people on this team from a lot of different places.
It's pretty diverse when you look at it.
You got a couple Illinois people, Indiana, of course. Julian Larry from Texas played quarterback at Lone Star High School. Went to an entrepreneurial academy, but was able to play over at Lone Star High School. 3 of the 5 starters transfers. Ryan Conwell went to South Florida. Isaiah Swope, Southern Indiana, not too far here from Indiana State. And Jason Kent came from Bradley, where the Bearcats just defeated on Saturday. And Xavier Bledson came from Lincoln Memorial Division II, which is where head coach Josh Schertz coached at for a very long time. 337 and 69 at Lincoln Memorial Division II.
I think Josh Schertz is going to play a little bit of fantasy, a little dynasty mode, huh?
He's having his way at the moment. His son Jaden Schertz is on the roster as well from the Tennessee area.
So Jason Kent had 35 points in the first round matchup versus SMU. That's the 9th 30-point game by a player in the Schertz era.
They love to score the good ball, to say the least.
That's what happens when you have such an explosive offense in Indiana State.
Team that averages just under 85 points a game. Giving up 72, but when you score more than what you give up, you win.
Oh, yeah.
Back to action. Jizzle James, the basketball. Over to Jamil Reynolds. Reynolds dribbling. Pitch over to Lacoste at the top of the key. A screen set by Reynolds. Lacoste is inside. The floater for him. Bounced off and rebounded by Avila. Pushing in transition is Julian Larry. Over to Conwell. Goes inside. And it looked like a foul was called up top. Josh Reed will be called with a hand check. More of an arm bar. Dan Skillings will check back into the game for Josh Reed.
I will say Sycamores are doing a great job on Lukosius. He's only 2 of 6 so far in this game. But we saw versus San Francisco, he will heat up in the second half.
Avila inside, trapped by Jamil Reynolds, that was. Avila the basketball again, fakes the handoff, throws over to Conwell. Conwell, the step back. Avila again, fakes the shot, 4 on the shot clock. Larry from deep, a 3, missed off the front rim and rebounded by Dan Skillings Jr.
Great defensive possession right there by the Bearcats.
Indiana State will inbound it under their own basket, and Josh Reed will check right back in for Dan Skillings.
Yeah, Skillings 2 fouls already. I don't think we'll see him for the rest of the first half.
Had 2 fouls earlier in that Bradley game and had to sit, and came back with a really good second half, scoring 17 of his 20 in the latter half. 31-30, Julian Larry takes it with the left hand. Skip pass to Kent, almost went out of bounds. Nice catch by Kent. Avila dribbling around, pitch to Larry, inside Avila, but it's blocked off the glass by Jamil Reynolds. Not today. John Newman III bringing it up the court. Jizzle James now has the basketball, between the legs dribble, trying to get Swope off of him. Lukosius on the left side, throws inside to Jamil Reynolds. Reynolds will shoot the three from the top of the key, and Reynolds, nylon for him.
I remember we had a game against West Virginia and Justin and I, and Reynolds drilled a three. It was like a 10-0 run, and he just went crazy. He can shoot them, but he doesn't shoot them rarely or often.
Shout out to Justin Diedrich and Aiden Riggs. No filter, baby. Here, Swope. Baseline shot missed. Rebounded by Josh Reed. Trying to fight for position. Jizzle James, the basketball now. 34-30 with 2:06 to go. Bearcats are up on the Sycamores. Here, Reynolds, top of the key. Swing over to Josh Reed. Looking for John Newman inside, but a curl for Lukosius. Lukosius. Over to Josh Reed again. Dribble handoff on the right side of the court. Lukosius with 5 seconds on the shot clock. Crossover dribble. Step back. Tough shot. It's missed off the back iron, but rebounded by Josh Reed. And a new shot clock for the Bearcats.
I think Lukosius might be rushing it. He's trying to force it.
James tried to shoot it, but mishandled it. Gets his ball back, and it's rebounded by Reynolds. Another new shot clock.
Another offensive rebound for the Bearcats.
James attacks inside. And a nice defensive play by Avila, and they'll call a jump ball. Possession arrow for Indiana State.
Oh, that was the right call. I would have wished Jizzle would have threw underneath. It looks like it was Reynolds. Pick and roll.
Had him on the short roll, it looked like, but Jizzle James, with him having 13 points, wanted to try to see what he had. Conway. Pitch over to Larry. Larry, a lot of offensive movement right there for Indiana State. They're really good at that. Larry refuses the screen. No-look pass inside. Avila off his leg. Bearcats basketball.
Bearcats are doing a great job defensively right now, and really for this entire first half. Holding the Sycamores only 30 points so far. I don't want to jinx nothing, but the Bearcats, hopefully they continue this into the second half.
Here, a minute to win it. In the first half, that is. Bearcats up by 4, 34-30. Jizzle James inside to Jamil Reynolds on the left block close to the Indiana State bench. Reynolds, dip shoulder, jump hook, friendly roll. Reynolds the bucket.
That's what I want. I want the UC bigs to attack Avila. If you get him to foul out, that's a huge asset for the Sycamores going away, or at least get him into foul trouble.
Avila with one foul. Stumbling was Julian Larry. Gets the ball back over to Avila. Avila inside on Jamil Reynolds. Puts the shot up, and it's missed, but rebounded by Kent. Shot fakes around, and the ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay with Indiana State with 27 seconds to go in this first half.
8-second differential on the shot clock compared to the game clock. So you wonder, will the Sycamores hold it, or are they going to try and attack?
Here's the inbound from Conwell over to Larry. Larry comes off the screen from Avila. Avila trying to set one again. Pass over to Avila. The top of the key. Over to Swope, guarded by Newman on the right wing. Swope inside. Puts up a tough shot and makes it. Contortion in air. 9 seconds. 9 seconds on the shot clock. Jizzle James up the court. 5, 4. He's at the top of the key. Goes a hard screen. The shot is short. And that'll end the first half of play in this NIT quarterfinal. Cincinnati is up 36-32 on Indiana State. A very tough place to play, but two gritty teams going at it, and we have a fun second half coming up, don't we?
Oh, yeah. I mean, so far the first 20 minutes, just a great matchup between these two teams. It's a physical, competitive game. It's something just love to see, and we feel it in the arena right now. It is electric. We know it's going to be a fun and great game, and we got at least 20 more minutes left to go.
Of the Indiana State starters, no one has less than 4 points, but no one has more than 7 points. Spreading the wealth, that is.
Yeah, I think the Sycamores just have to get in the rhythm, because it looked like midway through that first half, they were just chucking up threes and forcing them. That's not who they are. They have to have the play designed well and create that space, not force anything. So they're going to relax going to halftime and just refocus, regroup as a team, and remain who they are.
And on the Bearcat side, Jizzle James loved playing his games, 13 points, 6 for 13 from the field. And pitching in, Jamil Reynolds, that is, 2 for 2 from the field, and John Newman, 2 for 2 from deep. Those guys are playing a pretty big impact in more limited roles.
They are, and what I'm excited to see out the second half is we know Coach Schertz is going to make adjustments on Jizzle James. He's going to try to put a body on him and prevent him from scoring. Someone else on the Bearcats has to step up. And we've seen it happen a lot of times throughout the year. Sometimes it was Lukosius, sometimes it was Skillings. Who will be this player to step up in the second half? Has to be one of the guards or one of the forwards. We'll see.
At least 20 minutes or maybe some more away from a reservation at Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, Indiana. Cincinnati's up 36-32 at halftime over Indiana State. We'll be back here in roughly 15 minutes.
Welcome back to the Holman Center here in Terre Haute, Indiana, right near the Illinois border. We got ourselves a great matchup between the Bearcats and the Sycamores. Bearcats are up 36-32 as the second half will begin momentarily. Chase, what do you notice?
Well, offensively for both of these teams, Cincinnati's been kind of running the same sets overall. They've got their bigs out more on the perimeter, playing a lot of dribble handoffs and having the guards and wings attack downhill. Or if Indiana State overplays, pitch out for three. And Cincinnati has shot 4 for 10 so far from the three. Got to get Simas Lukosius going from the outside if he has an opportunity. It would be really big for Cincinnati. Indiana State, on the other hand, a team that really plays positionless. They just play fast. They play open. They play free. They've done a lot of the same things tonight. Robbie Avila is just a lot of dribble handoffs, stepped out, shot some threes, and they're really spreading the wealth. I think if Indiana State's able to get more up tempo and are able to play more in rhythm with each other, then they could be in for a pretty good second half as well.
The Bearcats will start off with the ball. Lukosius will inbound at the half-court line. Bearcats will go from right to left on your mobile device. Bearcats in all black uniforms, Indiana State in their powder blue. Honestly, a great matchup in uniforms to our eyes. We can actually see the numbers now.
Hey, if you want to watch this, well, imagine it. Use promo code IMAGINE-THIS. This really is a nice matchup, though. And you know, Indiana State's court with the royal blue, and they're wearing the powder blue tonight. Cincinnati in the all black.
Jizzle James receives the inbounds. He crosses half court. Skillings hands it right back off to James at the left wing. Bandego, top of the key, hands off to James, gets a screen. James, the floater is up, and that one is good. Jizzle James, 15 points. One of two Bearcats to not miss a game this year. The other one, John Newman III.
James blazing guns out the start, and, you know, they tried to look for a lob for Skillings, but were able to get to the pick-and-roll action.
Avila bounce pass underneath the Jaden Kent, and he finishes the layup off the glass. Skillings to Lukosius, back up to Skillings at the left wing. Gets a screen by Lukosius, gives it to Bandego, handoff to Lukosius. Drives in, layup off the glass, left-handed. That one was too easy. Looks like miscommunication between the Sycamores defense. Step up three-pointer is good. That's Ryan Conwell. A great response for the Sycamores.
Track, baby? Is this track? We're out here running a bit, going up and down the court. Gonna be a good one.
So far, great sequence for both teams. Bandego has it. Looking to hand it off. He's going to pass to the Jizzle James. Gets a screen. James steps into the paint, gives it to Bandego. The touch is no good, but a foul is called. That's going to be on Isaiah Swope.
Like you mentioned in the first half, Chris, Bandego, no shot attempts. They need to get him going inside. And what they've been trying to do is go off the pick and roll, and when Jamil runs, then pick and pop. But if they're able to attack downhill and have two collapse down, then that'll open up the lob or the dump-off pass for Bandego, who can finish them down.
Bandego goes to the line for the first free throw. That one is up, and that one is good. Bandego, a 55% free throw shooter, sinks the first one.
Going to be big to make free throws going forward. Cincinnati only 3 for 6 at the moment.
Second free throw, that one falls in for Bandego. He goes 2-2 at the line. Bandego had 3 points, 8 boards, and 3 blocks in the win versus Bradley. As you mentioned earlier, he only took 1 shot from the floor.
Going to need more of him in this one.
Swope still has it. It's going to be handoff to Conwell, who swings it to Avila. Avila's going to drive in, layup. The left hand rattles in. We saw a problem early on for the Sycamores, missing layups that they should have made.
It looked Joker-esque, I'm not going to lie. I mean, he was just able to play at his own pace and dictate what he was going to do with the basketball.
Bandego, top of the key, gives out to Lukosius at the left wing, gets a screen. Lukosius puts up the shot. That one is no good, but a foul is called. Looks like on Ryan Conwell, or excuse me, Isaiah Swope. So Lukosius will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws.
Bearcats are really trying to attack these wings on both sides, whether they're driving baseline or they're trying to push toward the middle. They're trying to attack in with those 15-footers, kickouts, and get to the basket, and they've done a pretty good job so far.
Lukosius' first free throw is up, and that one is good. Lukosius shoots 84% from the charity stripe this year. He had 28 points, including a career-high 8 threes in the win versus San Francisco, including the game winner. He had 17 points in the win versus Bradley. Second free throw is up, and that one toilet bowls in. Bearcats up by 5, 18-10 left to go in this matchup.
Look for a lot of dressing action right here for Indiana State, trying to get to the right movements for them.
Conwell has it guarded by Bandego, potential mismatch. Conwell gonna drive in, stops inside the paint, gives it off to Larry, back out to Conwell, top of the key, guarded by Newman. 10 left on the shot clock. Conwell swings it to Avila. His three-pointer is up, left wing. That one is no good. Offensive rebound by Kent, and they're gonna call a foul. Looks like on Jizzle James. Sycamores will retain possession.
See Kent, talking about their all-purpose guy, averaged around 13 points a game this year and 8.2 rebounds. It's been really big for them. A 63% shooter, always around the basket and playing inside the paint. Came with a big rebound there, gave him possession.
Swope inbounds it to Conwell. Conwell, he's going to drive inside the paint. Left-handed layup is no good. Avila tries to tip in. No good. He misses another tip in. Wow. Uncharacteristic for the Sycamores. Bandego has all by himself, and he cannot throw it on the lob, but a foul is called on Julian Larry. Bandego had a lot of space on that one. Took him time to almost recoup and figure out where he was on the court, and before you know it, there's Julian Larry right there.
Jizzle James, the really good no-look pass up the court. He was able to spot that going right down the lane. You see Bandego give him the basketball and let the big fella go up with it. Now he's got to earn him.
Bandego's first free throw is up. That one is good. With the Sycamores, they are a very thin rotation team, running usually 6 to 7 personnel, but mostly 6. And we saw about 3 fouls so far in the second half. Try to force them to use their depth as Bandego's second free throw is up, and that one is good.
Julian Larry, Isaiah Swope, and Ryan Conwell all have 2 fouls, and Kenton Avila both have 1. So that might be something to look forward to down the stretch.
Bearcats up by 6. Conwell has it, steps outside, gives it to Avila. Avila at the left elbow, guarded by Bandego. Looking for a pass, gives it off. That's going to be Isaiah Swope. Guarded by Bandego at the left wing. Swope's going to drive in baseline, gets it off, and that one's a bad pass. Lukosius has it. Bearcats pushing. Lukosius going to drive in. That one's poked away by the Sycamores. Ends up in the hands of Julian Larry. Isaiah Swope, right wing. He's going to drive it on James. Hesitates at the baseline. Fans want a foul, but they will not get it. Julian Larry driving in on Bandego underneath to Avila. His shot is up, and it's no good, but a foul is called, and it looks like it's going to be on Bandego.
Just up and down sequence. I think Lukosius in transition didn't really see anyone coming from behind. You know, people don't have eyes in the back of their heads, so it was a tough defensive play right there. Indiana State made a nice one, just going down the court and getting the ball to Avila and earn from the line.
We enter a media timeout. We'll take a quick break here on Bearcat Sports Radio. Bearcats up 46-39. And we welcome you back here to the Holman Center here in the NIT quarterfinals in the upper right quadrant. Earlier today, the Ohio State Buckeyes lost to the Georgia Bulldogs in Columbus 79-77. The Bulldogs are the first team to clinch a berth to the NIT semifinals and their trip to Indianapolis. So far here, between the Sycamores and Bearcats, what do you know about Robbie Avila?
He's struggled in this NIT. They've won both of their games, and they've won pretty handily, but a guy that's averaging 17 points a game and has had 5 games with 25-plus points, only shooting 25% this tournament, and at the moment 3 for 9 as he missed that free throw.
Missed the first free throw. Avila shoots 83% from the line, misses the first one.
Hopefully we don't awake a giant by talking about any of this, but
second one falls in. Sycamores trail by 6, 16:49 left to go in this matchup. Drizzle James leads all scorers with 15 points, shooting 7 of 14 from the floor. Skillings, top of the key. On the Sycamore logo, goes up to Drizzle James, left wing. Lukosius top of the key to Skillings. Skillings drives in, layup. And that one falls in off the glass. Dan Skillings, 8 points, 4 of 9 from the floor.
Indiana State switched up a little bit. They came out in a 3-2 zone, and the Bearcats are able to get it to the middle. And you find Dan Skillings and let him go to work, and that happens.
Julian Larry, dribble handoff to Jaden Kent. Gives it off to Avila, top of the key. Avila picks up his dribble, guarded by Bandego, top of the key, gives it off. This is going to be Isaiah Swope. Isaiah Swope, bounce pass to Avila with 5 left in the shot clock. Avila's going to drive it on Bandego, layup off the glass. That one is in for Robbie Avila.
I'll give him credit. He plays at his own pace and has done a pretty good job at it. You know, he reaches 9 points on the night. Indiana State wants him to get going here pretty quick.
John Newman has it, gives off to Lukosius. Thought about it. Lukosius, top of the key, gives off to Skillings. Skillings to the paint, pump fake layup with the right hand. That one falls in for Dan Skillings.
A little deja vu action there. And Indiana State came out in a 1-3-1. They mixed up a little bit, showing the top guy, extending the wings. They're just trying to play some games with Cincinnati, but they came right back with the same recipe.
Isaiah Swope, left wing. Shoots a 3. That one is up, and that one is good. Nothing but net for Isaiah Swope.
He cashed that check right there. Left wing.
Lukosius has it, guarded by Kent. Underneath, Skillings. Skillings loses it, but it will stay Bearcat ball. And Jamil Reynolds goes to the score table. Looks like he's going to check in.
See, that ball possibly could have gone off of Dan Skillings right there, but in situations, I've even talked to some refs and playing college basketball, you know, if they see a foul, they might not call it. They'll just give the other team the basketball if it comes to a 50-50 like that, because they want to keep the game going. They want to play, but they're trying to maybe get what the maker call.
And it's going to be a travel called on Reynolds as he's driving in on Avila. Over the past 2 games, Jamil Reynolds has seemingly struggled, playing a little uncharacteristic.
Uncharacteristic indeed, making the 3 earlier for him, but you know they need to get him going inside and try to help this team in the middle of the court.
Julian Larry has it, going in on Reynolds. High pass, that's going to be Ryan Conwell. Avila, top of the key, thought about it, gives it off. Isaiah Swope. Isaiah Swope underneath to Avila, guarded by Reynolds. Avila making space. Reverse layup is up and good, and that cuts the Sycamore deficit down to 3. Skillings has it. Gets it off to Reynolds. Reynolds to James. James top of the key. Gets up to Lukosius. A deep 3. I mean deep! CMOS Lukosius, are you kidding me? Oh my goodness. Silences the crowd here at the Holman Center.
Ooh-wee.
Scoop layup is good by Ryan Conwell.
Oh, my.
And these 2 teams are just dueling right now. This is the matchup we knew we were coming into. And it's definitely showing right now. Bearcats up 53-49, 14-07. One of those crazy sequences right there in this game.
And Lukosius shot that from my old home in Richmond, Indiana. He pulled up from deep. Bang. I mean, with no hesitation whatsoever. The dude has no range at all. Well, he has all the range in the world, but he doesn't care.
We saw against San Francisco, Lukosius heated up in the second half. Against Bradley, this was Dan Skillings heat up in the second half. Who will heat up in the Cats? We'll find out after this quick media timeout here on Bearcat Sports Radio. Welcome back to Bearcats Sports Radio on this NIT quarterfinal matchup between the Bearcats and the Sycamores here in Terre Haute, Indiana. We're not the only ones making the trip. How about the UC band, the Bearcat, and the UC cheerleaders all commuting with us?
They definitely did. I mean, it was a 3-hour drive, but it really didn't feel that long, though.
It was a very quick 3-hour drive.
It definitely was.
There was a little bit of rain, but that didn't stop us, nor did anyone else.
The Midwest, man, there's a lot of elements that are put in. It's farmland, it's weather, it's basketball, it's a lot of stuff.
Bearcats inbound it. Jizzle James will cross half court. 14 minutes left to go in this game. Bearcats up by 4. Skillings has it. Spin move. Skillings working on his man. Gives off to Jizzle James at the left wing. Gets a screen by Reynolds. Loses it. Reynolds has it. 8 left on the shot clock. Bearcats to do something. Lukosius, he's called to action. How about another one? That one is no good. And it's rebounded by Swope. Going in is going to be Conwell, and a foul is called on Lukosius.
See, when Conwell was in on that fast break and went up, Lukosius was good already. He went straight up, but he was moving backwards. And normally, if you're moving backwards and you're to, kind of tilt a little bit down and show that hand, they're going to call a foul. You got to go straight up in that regard, and I understand it. At least he's going to make him try to earn it at the foul line.
Ryan Conwell leads the team in free throw percentage, shooting 86% from the charity stripe. Today, that's his first free throw attempt. He misses it. This is very uncharacteristic for the Sycamores. 8 of 12 from the free throw line.
Team that shoots 79.9% from the foul line, that is.
Second free throw is up, and that one is in. Nothing but net. 3-point lead for the Bearcats. Sycamore showing pressure. Leads off. Jizzle James will bring up the ball. Crosses half court. Gets a screen by Reynolds at the left wing. James still has it. James, that one's poked away by Swope. It will be Bearcats ball underneath the basket. 15 seconds left on the shot clock. And the Bearcats will inbound it underneath the basket. Lukosius will inbound it. Lukosius looking, gives it off to Reynolds, give and go. Lukosius left corner three-pointer is up, and that one is nothing but net for Seamus Lukosius, who extends the Bearcats' lead to 6.
Yeah, you give him that much space, you better pray he misses. Didn't on that one.
Just a quick, simple give and go. Driving in. That shot is no good. That was Julian Larry. Lukosius has it, crosses half court, poked away, and a crazy sequence as great defense. Looks like by Lukosius, who deflected the ball. Swope had it, tried a half court pass to Julian Larry, who was wide open underneath the basket.
Tipped it over to the ESPN booth down there. Mike, Corey, Fran, Fraschilla. Talked to those guys before the game.
Very nice guys.
Indeed. Good thing Lukosius was able to stop that. And
that was an easy 2 points.
Yeah, blockade right there, which is a good thing.
Newman checks in for the Bearcats. This is going to be Swope driving on Skillings, loses his balance, but still has at the baseline. 15 left on the shot clock, reverses it. Swope, pass out to Larry, gives it up. Right wing three-pointer by Conwell is up, and that one is good. Ryan Conwell starting to heat up for the Sycamores.
Swope was down there on the baseline. A little stop and go, half spin, and they were able to get the one more pass. Really good shot right there for Conwell.
Jizzle James, left wing three-pointer is up. And that one is no good off the iron, but Rounds for the rebound. Jizzle, again, another three. That one is no good. Rebounded by Skillings. Back-to-back offensive boards. Newman thought about it, and they're called travel on John Newman. Bearcats had opportunities, just did not capitalize.
Yeah, in that situation, I understand Jizzle. He missed the shot and got, they got the offensive rebound inside, and he wanted to get back up there and try to recorrect himself. But, when you get that second offensive rebound, just get it out, calm down. You got a new 20 on the clock. Get the play call from Wes Miller and just try to get a really good shot and extend the game to 2 possessions.
Looks like Reed and Lukosius check in for Reynolds and Jizzle James. Jizzle James, 26 minutes played. He's on pace to play the entire 40 minutes of this game. He saw a quick break in the first half, which he was out for maybe about 10 seconds.
It's got to be a quick one here, too. I mean, maybe not 10 seconds, but You know, we got to get him one.
Kent for the tie. That one is good. This place explodes. 56 apiece. 11:47 left to go. Lukosius has it. Right wing in front of the Bearcat bench. Drives in. Spin move. Gives off to Bandego. Top of the key. Gives it to Newman. Right wing. Newman. Top key three-pointers up. And that one silences the crowd here at the Holman Center. John Newman, nothing but cold-blooded.
John Newman with the man, this is a tough place to quiet, though.
Conwell working on Lukosius. Gives off to Avila. How about another tie? And that one falls in. I mean, haymakers being thrown at each other.
We still got more than 10 minutes left to play in this one, too. Going back and forth.
We'll call a blocking foul on the Sycamores. That's going to be on Julian Larry. Sycamores have yet to make a substitution, and there's 11:04 left to go in the game.
Well, the Bearcats are making a substitution with Jizzle James now. He got his breather, and as you mentioned, Indiana State making one right now.
It's going to be Xavier Bledson coming in. Coming out for the Sycamores looks like Julian Larry.
Yes.
As you mentioned, Jizzle James checks right back in. Fans on their feet. Lukosius will inbound it right next to the Bearcat bench near the scorer's table. Lukosius gives it off to James. 20 left on the shot clock. 11 minutes left to go in the game. Skillings back off to James. Left wing. James, alley-oop to Skillings, and he can't get it, but a foul is called. Great vision right there by Jizzle James, and Skillings knows, or at least thinks he should have had that one.
The pass was a little low, but it took a lot of courage for Jizzle James to be able to throw that lob from the opposite wing. Huge free throws right here for Dan Skillings once we get back from the timeout.
59 apiece, 10:55 left to go in the game. We are in for a great ending, and this is a great game to be at, and especially having the privilege to call here in Terre Haute, Indiana. Bearcats shooting 51% from the floor, including 44% from beyond the arc. Sycamore starting to heat up, shooting 50% from the floor and 53% from the three, which is very characteristic to what we're used to seeing.
Yeah, what we've seen in the second half is the Sycamores' forte. They have shot the basketball very well from the outside, and effective field goal percentage around 60%. They've done a pretty good job. And this half, shooting 71% from the field and hitting 5 of 6 threes, 83% of you for the math people out there. I mean, they have been connecting from the outside. And Cincinnati shooting 3 for 6 from deep and 7 for 10 from the field. How about two teams shooting 70% in the second half? This one wild.
Indeed it is. We'll take a quick break here on Bearcat Sports Radio. We have a tie game here in Terre Haute, Indiana. Welcome back here to Bearcats Sports Radio on this edition of the NIT tournament. Skillings at the free throw line. He has 10 points. Skillings will shoot 2. First free throw is up. And that one is in. Skillings is a 66% free throw shooter this by Swope. Fast break for the Sycamores. Corner. That's going to be Conwell. Swope. Left wing step back. Three-pointer is up. And that one is no good. Rebounded by Bandego.
Bearcats need a good possession here. They got to try to work this shot clock if possible.
James layup off the glass falls in to give the Bearcats a 2-point lead.
Or not.
10 minutes left to go on this
that works.
one.
I guess if you get numbers in transition, might as well take them.
Almost a turnover, but Vila has it. Vila gives it off. Swope, left wing three-pointer is up, and that one is good. Sycamores have the lead, 64-63. 6 of 8 from beyond the arc in the second half. James, left wing, gives off the Skillings, right back out to James. In the corner to Oguama. Oguama to Bandego, top of the key. Hand off to James. Pull-up jumper just inside the arc, and that one is good. Jizzle James gives the Bearcats the lead right back, 65-64.
Heavyweight fight. We're here for it.
1 versus 2 in the upper right quadrant. Avila guarded by Oguama, and a foul is called on Oguama. That'll be Oguama's first.
You got Oguama with the hold. It looked like he played him straight up, but you know, you get away with a lot of the lower stuff inside. They let you get away with a little bit more in the post, but you know, if you extend that arm bar and get a displacement call, then they're going to call that 9 out of 10 times.
Sycamores will inbound it underneath the basket in a box formation. And it's an outlet pass to Julian Larry. Gives off to Conwell. Another three-pointer, and that one just rims out, rebounded by Bandego.
That would have been a huge shot for Indiana State, and this place would have erupted.
Indiana State 15-1 at home this year here at the Holman Center. Jizzle James has it inside the paint. Underneath the Bandego, bad pass stolen by the Sycamores. Conwell gives off to Larry. Larry gives it off. Three-pointer by Swope is up. That one is no good. Rebounded by James.
James on that last one, the floater was there. Understand the pass. Wes Miller wanted a foul call when Bandego was getting pushed out.
James' layup just can't fall. Underneath Kent, and he throws down the hammer to give the Sycamores the lead, 66-65.
Quick athletic twitch on the catch. He was right around the basket and just got up with a 6'8" frame.
Lukosius, bad pass. That's stolen by the Sycamores. It's going to be Bledson. Underneath the Larry, layup off the glass is good. Count it, and 1. Just like that, the Sycamores are out in front. Going to the scorer table is going to be Skillings and John Newman. Coming out, Oguama and Josh Reed.
How things can change.
Just like that.
A game of runs. Indiana State got back to what they do so well, running in transition, finding easy baskets, and hitting the three.
Larry's free throw is good. He has 7 points. Sycamores up by 4, 69-65, 7:55 left to go in this game. Jizzle James gives off to Skillings, hand off to James at the left wing. Goes off to Bandego. Bandego at the free throw line. Palms it, bounces, gets it to Lukosius. Lukosius, a spot up three is up. That one just can't fall, rebounded by Kent. Bledson has it, bounce pass to Larry, layup, and that one is blocked by Lukosius. Fight for it, Jizzle James has it. James crosses half court. Underneath at the official, he's on the logo. They want a foul. They wanted a foul on Bandego on his dunk attempt, and they didn't get one. Wes Miller is very lucky.
What is happening? Because Jizzle James getting pushed back toward the bench, and Ryan Conwell, it looked like they were kind of exchanging some words right there. I mean, the heat's getting turned up here.
Sycamores on the AO scoring run over the last 65 seconds, and the Bearcats in the scoring drought over the last 2 minutes. This game is starting to get physical, and just like that, Sycamores go on a quick run, and they extended the lead to 7.
See, Bearcats, they gotta try to regain their composure. This is a tough place to do it with this very active crowd, but Cincinnati needs a really good set to just get a basket and get a stop. They need to get a kill. They have to get 3 defensive stops in a row and try to go on a run themselves. Indiana State on their own 8-0 run, like you mentioned, in the last 65 seconds. Cincinnati just needs to play it 1 possession at a time and just stack up score, stop, and then they're right back in this. It's only a 7-point game, but they just can't let the outside noise and extra festivities that they call chirping and everything else get to them.
As you mentioned, they cannot let that affect them. Arguably, this is probably one of the toughest places that UC has played at all year. That says a lot considering they are in the Big 12 Conference and played a lot of great teams.
I mean, we've talked to some people downstairs and, talking about this is an older facility, but obviously very charged up in a way. But, this somewhat has a feel kind of like Baylor's new facility, where it's steeper, and everyone, it's kind of on top of each other. The stands are kind of on top of this court, and it's very loud. They care about their team. This is, if you had this environment in the top 1,
I think it's right behind it, if not ahead of it, just by a bit. This place is a
facility. The state lives and breathes basketball. I mean, what level it is. If it's basketball and it's in the state of Indiana, people are there for it. And you see a team with 30 wins, I mean, they're going to be there.
And a technical foul was given on the UC coaching staff.
Going into the timeout and then the technical foul.
Underneath, Bandego throws on the lob.
Well, that's a way to silence a crowd. That was a great pass from Jizzle James and able to get Aziz Bandego a bucket.
Sycamores on a 13-4 run over the last 2.5 minutes. Conwell has it, gives it off to Bledson. Bledson at the left wing gets off to Conwell. Conwell, swing pass, Avila, driving in on Bandego. Stops in the paint, gives off to Bledson. 6 left on the shot clock. Bledson pull up 3-pointer. That one is no good. Rebounded by Bandego. Bearcats need to score right here.
Look, like Avila carried inside. They didn't call it, but it was a great defensive possession right there for the Bearcats, hoping to get a bucket in this one.
James, left wing, gets a screen by Bandego. Still has it, 15 left on the shot clock. Bandego, top of the key, looking. Palms it, looking to give it off. James has it. Grabs around Bandego. James, jumper, baseline, that was no good. Poked away, and this one is recovered. Great hustle play by John Newman. Gives it off to Lukosius. He falls down, and a foul is going to be called on Julian Larry.
Yep.
Newman went for the effort, and he tripped over Larry. He got the bounce pass off to Lukosius, but the foul was called on Larry.
They say the low man wins in a game of football. In the game of basketball, he's going to go for a foul, and that's exactly what happened there for Julian Larry.
That's his 4th foul. Yes, Larry's 4th foul.
That's huge. Larry's the quarterback of the offense pretty much. All these guys can run the break, but he's been one of the main contributors, that is, and he averages right around 5 assists a game, and him going out with around 6 minutes to go can be big.
Isaiah Swope will check in for Julian Larry. 6 minutes left. Bearcats down by 7. James, right wing, gives off to Lukosius. Top of the key, 3-pointer is up, and that one is nothing but net. Seamus Lukosius, 19 points, 4 threes.
Jizzle James pushed to the right. They ran a staggered screen. It was able to be one screen, another screen, curl for Lukosius, wash, rinse, repeat for him.
Timeout Sycamores. Head coach Josh Schertz wants to talk it over with the Sycamore squad. Bearcats trail by 4. We'll take a quick break here on Bearcat Sports Radio. Welcome back to Bearcat Sports Radio. We are indeed on the road here in Terre Haute, Indiana. Bearcats trail by 4, 5:48 left to go in this NIT quarterfinal. Winner secures a spot in Indianapolis. Conwell will cross half court, guarded by Dan Skillings. Gives it off to Jaden Kent, who swings it to Bledson at the right wing, guarded by Newman. Avila, top of the key, drives in. A foul's going to be called on Bandego. Sycamores are in the bonus, so Avila will go for 1 and 1.
Unfortunately for Cincinnati, Indiana State's a great free throw shooting team, but probably was the right foul for Bandego right there instead of giving up an easy shot at the rim.
That would be Bandego's third foul. Avila goes to the line. First free throw is up. That one is good. Avila, 17 points, shooting 6 of 12 from the floor, including 3 of 6 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, he's turned it on in the second half. Mentioning he shot 4 for 6 in the second half. He's really turned it on since the first free throws that he shot in the second half. He's been pretty big so far.
Second free throw is no good. Rebounded by Dan Skillings. Goes off to Jizzle James. Almost intercepted. James crosses half court. Goes off to Newman. Newman looking. Goes off to Bandego, top of the key. Lukosius, another three-pointer is up. That one is no good. Rebounded by Bandego. Deflected out of bounds, and they're going to say Avila touched it last, but the other ref overturns it. I believe that is the right call.
It was. It definitely was. And, again, it goes back to the point of, okay, maybe it was a foul, and it really wasn't a foul, but it was the right call overall.
Sycamores will bring up the ball.
Wes Miller wanted it to be a grab on the arm of Bandego, but obviously didn't get the call.
Conwell to Avila. Avila thought about it, picks up his dribble. And an offensive foul going to be called on the Sycamores. Looks like on Bledson. Bearcats get the ball right back. If you're the Bearcats, you have to capitalize in these final 5 minutes down by 5.
They need a bucket really bad here. They got to get to one of their best sets possible, get a screen and roll, and see how Indiana State plays. If they play drop coverage, if they try to jump it, we'll see what happens.
James still has it at the left elbow. Lob to Bandego, and he throws it down. Count it, and 1.
What a nice pass by Jizzle, though. He was able to find the spot, normally in that area about 10 to 12 feet to pull up jumper. But if you just put that thing around the rim, Bandego, he can get that basketball. And Indiana State played drop coverage right there. Avila's not coming out to guard anybody. He is staying inside that paint. And very tough pass, but a nice finish by Bandego.
Bandego is 4 of 6 from the charity stripe today. His free throw is up, and that one toilet bowls out, rebounded by Conwell.
Would have been big.
Sycamores have it. This is going to be Isaiah Swope. Gives up to Avila. Avila thought about it, still has it. Picks up his dribble. Looking. Heavily guarded by Bandego. Gives off to Conwell, top of the key. Conwell. Step back three-pointer is up. No good. Rebounded by Jizzle James.
Oh, it's got to be something. Foul.
Took some contact by Kent, but no foul call. Bearcats have a chance to tie it right here on this possession. Bandego, top of the key. Picks up his dribble. Looking for someone. Gives it off to Jizzle James. James, mid-range jumper. He loses it in midair. No travel call. Fans upset. Skillings. Spin move is stolen, poked away by the Sycamores. Conwell driving in, layup. It's blocked by Bandego. And it will be Sycamore ball, but that was very close from hitting Conwell and going out of bounds.
See, on the other end, talk about Jizzle James going up, and he fumbled it and passed it out to Lukosius. And then the steal right there. Julian Larry made a nice play on Dan Skillings, tripping the ball out. A bit of a ball don't lie moment, but not today from Aziz Bandego on the other end.
Bearcats trail by 3, 75-72. 3:57 left to go. We'll take a quick break here on Bearcat Sports Radio. Don't go anywhere. We're in for a thriller. Welcome back to the place to be right now, the Holman Center, home of the Indiana State Sycamores. 3:57 left to go. Bearcats trail by 3. Chase. Offense, offense, offense.
7 guys in this game and 7 guys on the court that are double figures tonight. Indiana State has 4. Cincinnati has 3. Bearcats, Lukosius, and James both have 19 points, doing it in different ways. The big question is which defense is going to step up down the stretch and whose offense can continue to prevail.
Avila receives the inbound for the Sycamores, and a foul's going to be called on Jamil Reynolds. That's going to be second foul for Reynolds. One of the trickier last names to pronounce.
Heard like 4 different ways pronounced. It's a different one.
Second free throw is up, and that one is in. As you mentioned the first half, we were talking with the Indiana State student broadcasters, and we were exchanging information. They asked, how do you pronounce Bandego or Lukosius? And we told them how to do it. We're like, how do you pronounce Avila? It's Avila.
Big man for big man in that sense.
James has it. Bearcats down by 5. James, jumper from the free throw line is nothing but net. 21 for Jizzle James.
Well, the net said bet, and Jizzle James put her in.
Avila, bounce pass. Tacano back out to Avila. Thought about it. Pump fake, driving it on Bandego. Acrobatic layup, can't fall. Rebounded by Lukosius. Bearcats have a chance to tie it with 3:13 left to go in this game.
Looked like something out of the Matrix right there if he would have made that shot.
James so has it. Gets off the Skillings in the corner. Looking to go underneath. Skillings at the right wing. Gives off to Lukosius for the tie. Yes, sir! Lukosius does it again.
Irish Spring, green, 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 green. Flight Rats.
77 apiece. 2:41 left to go in this game. Larry has it. Picks up his dribble. Bounce pass to Avila. Gets off the Cano. Right wing three-pointers up. Rims out. Rebounded by Skillings. Bearcats have a chance to take the lead on this possession.
I'm looking for a high screen and roll right here. Get Jizzle James in a 2-man game. See how they play the screen down low and let him attack. Let him make a decision.
James guarded by Swope. Going in at the left elbow. Jumper fading away. No good. Rebounded by Conwell. Sycamores pushing. Conwell thought about it, pulls out, gives off the Swope, gives off to Avila, wide open three-pointer on top of the key. No good. Rebounded by Jizzle James. James's 5th rebound. 1:53 left to go in this game. And Wes Miller is going to call a timeout. Bearcats have 1 left. Sycamores have 2 left. 1:50 left to go. This game has been incredible.
It's been an offensive clinic on both sides. Indiana State spreading the wealth. Cincinnati, it's been 2 guys with 20 points doing it in different ways. Jizzle James attacking the basket, showing a lot of touch and pizzazz in there. And Lukosius, sharpshooter, just, looking like it's the Hunger Games.
Lukosius, 22 points, 7 of 16 from the field, 5 of 13 from deep. He leads the Bearcats in scoring.
2 points away from 1,000, that is.
Correct. We saw John Newman eclipse 1,000 versus Bradley. Next up in line, will it be Seamounts Lukosius?
Newman's been big tonight, too. He's 9 points, 3 for 3 from the field. All 3 of those are threes. Maybe he gets an opportunity where he might have to take a big shot if guys are collapsing down on Lukosius and Jizzle James and maybe spray it out to John Newman.
0 fouls for Newman as well. James receives the inbound. Guarded heavily by Swope. Gets it off to Newman, and it's a turnover for the Bearcats. Just a little too much on that pass by Jizzle James. Sycamores have the ball right back in a scoring drive of 2 minutes. 1 of the last 8 from the floor.
Yeah, that's an errant pass. If you don't feel confident in it, just try to back it out. But Easier said than done in the moment.
Avila has it. Top of the key. Hand off to Kent. Kent gives it off. It's going to be Swope at the left wing. Gets the screen by Avila. Kent's going to drive in, layup, high arc, and it's no good. Fight for it. Rebounded by Larry, wide open right corner. 3 is up. No good. Poked away by John Newman, but the Sycamores will have it. This will be Conwell. 1:13 left to go in this game.
Precocious guarding Avila. They switch back now, but this is huge.
Avila, three-pointer, top of the key. Nothing but net. Sycamores take the lead 80-77, and it looks like they're going to review it, I believe, to see if his foot was on the line or not. Avila, if this is a 3, that's going to be his 22nd point of the night. 4 of 8 from beyond the arc.
I mean, you get those open shots on a lot of offensive rebounds and tip outs, then, you know, and giving Indiana State all those opportunities, they're going to hit one of those. And huge shot by Avila.
Everyone here at the Allman Center is on their feet.
Everyone loves to pump it up, I guess. They're doing the same thing.
Sounds like the national anthem for colleges here.
Especially at UC, man.
Lukosius will inbound it for the Bearcats. 59.7 left to go in this one. Bearcats do not need a 3. They just need a basket. James guarded by Swope. Gives off to Bandego. Hand off to James at the baseline. Gives off to Skillings. At the right wing, Skilling spin move, drives in, off the glass is no good. Gets his own rebound, it's poked away, ends up in the hands of Jizzle James, gets it off to Bandego, and a foul's going to be called on Conwell. Bandego will go to the line for a 1-and-1. 36.3 left to go in the game.
A lot of holding of the breath right there. I mean, talk about maybe Dan Skilling's potentially getting away with a travel, but he used that second step to propel himself, and then offensive rebounds and tough passes, and now you're 55% free throw shooters at the line with the season on the line. I mean, you gotta love college basketball.
Reed checks in for Lukosius. No substitutions for the Sycamores. Bandego gets the ball in front of the student section. First free throw is up. That one is no good. Rebounded by Conwell. Bearcats have to foul.
They got to.
Kent has it, crosses half court. Guarded by Reed, picks up his dribble. He's double teamed, gets poked away, and they're going to call a timeout by the Sycamores. Sycamores and the Bearcats both have one timeout left. There's 21 seconds on the shot clock. 26.7 on the play clock, a 5-second differential.
Yeah, they got to get some sort of stop and hope that Indiana State can miss a free throw if they indeed foul. I mean, this is a tough spot for the Bearcats to be in at the moment.
Bearcats are in a scoring drought of 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Sycamores shooting 1 of their last 9 from the floor. That field goal, the Avila three-pointer.
That's the difference right now. I mean, hitting the open shots, taking advantage of it. Indiana State shooting 43% from the field. Bearcats, from the 3, that is. And Cincinnati shooting 42% from 3, just, you know, not enough opportunities there and not capitalizing on some opportunities down the stretch.
Sycamores in a stacked formation. Ryan Conwell will be the trigger man. Conwell looking, gives it off to Julian Larry and a foul. And caught on Jizzle James. Larry shoots 80% from the charity stripe. Larry is 1 of 3 from the charity stripe today. 25.4 left on the clock. Bearcats down by 3. Fans on their feet here at the Holman Center. Some fans even covering their eyes. First free throw is up. That one's no good. Rebounded by Newman.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
James has it, crosses half court, 20 seconds left. Westmore's not going to call a timeout. James drives in, layup off the glass is no good, rebounded. And that's it, secured by Kent. Kent gives it off. Too swoop and a foul is called. That might do it. Both teams in a double bonus. Wes Miller decides not to use the timeout. Jizzle James drives in and layup can't fall.
It's not a bad shot. It's just, I think in the situation that you do want to try to get a basket if possible, but I would have tried to work it down a little bit and get a three at this point. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen going forward. Playing the foul game's a tough one to play, especially when you get into the double bonus.
Kent shoots 2 free throws. First one is up. That one is nothing but net. 4-point lead for the Sycamores.
Pure jubilation right now for the Sycamores in the crowd.
Kent, 15 points. A true shooting percentage of 100% tonight. Second free throw is up. That one is good. 5-point lead for the Sycamores. 82-77 substitution. This is going to be Jake Wolf checking in for Avila. Bearcats need a miracle.
West might be calling a timeout once they get across half court.
For Bearcats in a stacked formation at half court, Jizzle James will be the inbounder. Gives it to Skillings. Skillings to Lukosius. Timeout Bearcats. 11 seconds left. Down but not out. If you're Coach Wes Miller, what are you drawing up here, Chase?
Hey, you gotta get a catch and shoot for 3. I mean, again, you can play the foul game if you want, but it's a tough game to win, especially when you're in the double bonus and you're taking on a team that shoots 80% on the year. So at this point, you gotta go guns blazing and try to get an open 3 if possible.
Bearcats in a scoring drought over the last 2 minutes and 40 seconds.
The absolute worst time to do that. And Indiana State, one of their last 9 field goals as well. It's just they've gotten the free throw opportunities, and the one make out of that time frame was the difference.
The Bearcats definitely had their opportunities, just couldn't capitalize in the final 3 minutes of this game. Bearcats, no timeouts left. Sycamores have 1. This will be a full timeout by the Bearcats. The killer for the Bearcats has been the Sycamores, shooting 8 of 17 from deep in this half, shooting 50% from the floor.
Cincinnati overall, they shot 53% this half. It's just the 3-pointers in this regard. I mean, when you're shooting 40% from 3 and the other team's shooting 45%, not a lot you can do there.
Bearcats with 12 turnovers compared to the Sycamores' 8.
They're in a box set right now. I think they're going to try to get a little curl action, maybe try to get a pitch back to Lukosius and get a wing 3.
Lukosius inbounds, gives off to Skillings, wide open at the left corner, couldn't shoot. Lukosius, 3-pointer left wing is up, and he banks it in. What a way to eclipse 1,000 points for Seamouse Lukosius.
Wow.
Sycamores inbound, and a foul's been called on John Newman.
Well, he'll remember that one. Wow.
Isaiah Swope will go to the free throw line to shoot 2 free throws, 5.7 seconds left to go.
That thing was heavily contested right there, too. I mean, it was, they had a lot of pressure right there on Lukosius and able to get the 25.
Lukosius, 25 points, 6 3-pointers. Lukosius shooting 47% from deep since March 12th. First free throw is up, and that one just rings in.
Dang. For
Swope. And the Sycamores will call their last timeout to talk things over.
Looks like C.J. Anthony might be checking in.
Went to the score stone. He saw 2 minutes of action versus Bradley.
I mean, you're going to have to hope and pray right now that Indiana State misses a free throw. Bearcats had their opportunity, you know, on the clock. It was about 15 or 20 seconds ago, which was really about 5 minutes ago. You know, time works differently in college basketball when you're down in the final 2 minutes, but you know, a miss and try to push up the court and get a good enough look from three and try to play some extra basketball.
Pretty much will do it, as you mentioned. Bearcats are praying for a miss. Both teams dispersed from their huddles.
Going the small lineup. Yep, they took Bendago out of the game and put C.J. Anthony in. If they're able to miss, I mean, gotta get the offensive rebound. That cannot go unnoticed. You know, you get so caught up in trying to get the basketball, you forget to put a body on someone if there's a miss.
Second free throw is up. That one is no good. Rebounded by Newman. Lukosius has it. 3 seconds, and they're going to foul Lukosius. And he almost made the shot from 3/4 of the way.
Oh my gosh, they're playing the foul game. Wow.
So Lukosius will go to the line and shoot 2 free throws with 3 seconds left.
You see, Chris, what could happen here is this: if Lukosius is able to make this first free throw, he might be telling those guys, I'm trying to miss the second one. He's got to make the first one regardless. Because, again, playing that foul game is really tough, and it's a very murky game to play, especially with only 3 seconds left. He has to make this first free throw, and then we can talk about potentially what comes from that.
Lukosius, 25 points, 3 or 4 from the charity stripe today. Free throw is up. That one is good. Bendago will check in. C.J. Anthony checks out. Avila and Bledson check in for the Sycamores. Swope and Wolf check out.
I think he's telling Bendago he might miss. He's going to try to miss this shot intentionally, and they're going to try to get a board and try to get a tip in. You got Dan Skillings in there, who's really wiry and athletic. Bendago, a big guy. We'll see what happens.
Miss. Rebounded by Bledson. Foul.
Yeah. It was a good try.
So Bledson will go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. He shoots 84% from the charity stripe this year.
And there's no timeouts for Cincinnati, so if they get a rebound, they got one dribble and a chuck.
Just took an unlucky bounce for the Bearcats into the favor for the Sycamores.
Yeah, they want to try to hit it off the front of the rim, but it's always tough to get, because if you hit it off the back of the rim, there's a top opportunity. The ball bounces straight up, but that one just hit the back and it shot off to the right.
Bledson. First free throw is up. That one is good. 1.8 left. Josh Reed, John Newman check in.
Didn't know if it was Skillings for a second. I was like, yeah, they're not taking him out of this one, even if there is 1.8.
The Bearcat season depends on this free throw by Xavier Bledson. That one, 3 in the morning. When you look at the Sycamores, the man himself, Robbie Avila, 22 points, 5 boards, 6 assists, 38 minutes played.
Yeah, he woke up after, early portion of the second half. He turned it on, hit the huge 3 to be the difference in this one ultimately, and, they played a really good game.
16 points in the second half for Avila. You look at the Bearcats, led by Simas Lukosius, 26 points, 8 of 17 from the field, 6 of 14 from beyond the arc.
Yeah, the coach just put it all out there. He got hot in the second half. It was just unfortunate that the Bearcats weren't really able to stop a lot of the transition offense by Indiana State, which is one of, if not the best, transition offenses in all of college basketball.
Lukosius, 20 points in the second half, complemented by 5 3-pointers. Right behind him, Jizzle James in his second career start, 21 points right after his 25-point performance versus Bradley. Skillings, 12 points. Newman, 9 points. Bandego, 8 points. Jamil Reynolds, 5 points.
Yeah, Jizzle had a bit of a tougher go in the second half. Made some tough shots. Just there were a lot of bounces that kind of went his way a little bit in the first half, and some didn't go his way in the second half. And you got to have a little bit of luck on your side. And he still played a really good game, and I'm excited to see what he's got in store for next season.
Looking back at the Sycamores, right behind Avila, it's going to be Ryan Conwell, 18 points, 6 of 14 from the floor, 6 boards, and 4 assists.
Yeah, Conwell, really good game. Was able to step outside and shoot some threes and grab some boards and dish off some timely assists. He played a really well all-around game tonight.
Right behind Conwell would be Jason Kent, 16 points. Right behind him would be Isaiah Swope, 12 points.
All of Kent's shots, 5 makes from the field out of 5 attempts and 4 of 4 from the line. 9 shots up total and 9 makes. Didn't see the ball bounce out at all.
True shooting percentage of 100%.
And played 38 minutes.
38 minutes. 3 players for the Sycamores played 38 minutes. 2 others played 34. Very, very tight rotation for the Sycamores. So when you look at the stats, team comparison, Bearcats shot 50% from the floor compared to the Sycamores 45, but the free throws. Sycamores 20 of 27, Bearcats 11 of 17.
It's the difference. It's those couple points here and there. The Bearcats, maybe they make another free throw or two, and we're in a different situation down the stretch. And it's comes down to 1 or 2 possessions here and there when you're talking about higher level college basketball, and these 2 teams know how to play it.
The Bearcats led for 23 minutes and 20 seconds in this game. Really dominated that first half. They looked pretty great, but in the second half, Sycamores scored 53 points compared to the Bearcats' 45.
Yeah, it was that part where we hit around the 12 in that 10 minutes left mark where Indiana State really got, firing on all cylinders, and their offense they caught fire from 3, and they were able to run the court and get easy buckets and just kind of, make the Bearcats kind of run with like chickens with their heads cut off in some points. But, overall, I mean, it was a great battle between both of these teams.
And that will do it for the Bearcats' inaugural Big 12 season. They end off 22-15 and lose in the NIT quarterfinals here in Terre Haute, Indiana. This will do it for basketball season. I'm Chris McGowan alongside Chase Yance, our entire crew at Bearcats Media. It has been an incredible basketball season. We cannot wait until next year.
Yes, definitely.
We thank everyone for tuning in. Have a good night.